Also, photography is allowed all over the Space Center except for one location, folks, and that is the security guard gate. Please do not take pictures by the security guard gate. Those fellas have no sense of humor. Now, the Kennedy Space Center is a wildlife refuge. So we have over 150 species of birds. We have alligators and wild pigs, every type of animal you can think of. We have deer, wild pigs, we have prairie dogs, we got everything. We are the second largest wildlife refuge in Florida, second to the Everglades. Well, folks, it is time. Notice, yes, it is time for me to leave here. Buses leave from here every 10 minutes. From Saturn Center, they leave every 15 minutes. You're actually only 15 minutes away from Saturn, from here, if we was to go direct. But we're not going direct. We're going to see a few things on the way there.
Control 43.
Now, I'll be playing some videos. Half of it is commentary. The other half will be video. The first video will be from our director, Mr. Bob Cabana. Mr. Bob Cabana is a veteran of 4 shuttle missions. So he's an experienced astronaut. He was also instrumental in assembling the first 2 sections of the International Space Station, which right now as we speak is 250 miles up in space, and it rotates around the Earth every 90 minutes. Well, that's all it takes to go around the Earth. 90 minutes at a speed of 17,500 miles an hour. That's faster than Superman. Now, folks, over here, there's some wild pigs out here. I always look for them. About 2-3 herds of them here. And also, while we go by, folks, anytime we go by a waterway, keep your eyes peeled for alligators. You might see an alligator in this here. But right now, I'm going to show you guys that black and white rocket on your right, all the way to the right there. That is a Red Star Mercury rocket. That is the same type of rocket that took the first American into space, May 5th of 1961. Mr. Alan Shepard, the first American in space. Look underneath that rocket and you will see a flame deflector. Over at launch pad 39A and B, we have flame deflecting trenches that are 450 feet long, 58 feet wide, and 42 feet deep. See the flame deflector, that red plate there?
Yeah.
Well, this trench is 450 feet, and in that trench, they at launch time, they put in 400,000 gallons of water.
31 radio check.
And this is just a quick thing I'm going to tell you guys. And then, when that water...
There's an alligator.
An alligator.
You saw an alligator?
Yeah, there's one.
There you go.
Oh my God, what do we got?
Now, that trench has 400,000 gallons of water that they put in there, and when the rocket is fired up, that fire goes in the trench.
Copy, stand by.
That fire goes in the trench, and that fire there to deaden the sound of the blast. If they didn't do that, all of these windows would be cracked, would bust open from the sound of the blast. They do that to deaden the sound. We'll talk about that later. Now I give to you Mr. Bob Cabana.
Cabana. And it's my pleasure to welcome you to NASA's John F. Kennedy Space Center. From launching the first Americans into space to launching humans to the moon, we've launched and carried the dreams of a nation. None of it would have been possible without the tremendous team that made it happen here on the Space Coast. That has made possible the launch of every American vehicle that carried a crew into space since that first flight 50 years ago. During this tour, you'll get a unique, behind-the-scenes look at how America wrote many significant chapters in human and robotic space history. Most recently, the Space Shuttle program that launched 135 missions culminated in the assembly of the International Space Station in low Earth orbit. The station is truly an engineering marvel and a testament to what we can accomplish when we all work together. I think one of the most enduring legacies will be the international cooperation that we've achieved in building and operating. It's provided us the framework for how we will move forward as we explore beyond our home planet. Not as explorers from any one country, but as explorers from planet Earth. You're visiting the center at a very exciting time. From American soil, forging commercial partnerships, modernizing our infrastructure and facilities to support the growing variety of government and commercial activities and missions.
Folks, for your information, that building right there, the vehicle assembly building, is 5 miles away from the corner there, which is under the overpass. 5 miles away. Here.
Spacecraft in history, able to transport crews to destinations further than we've ever gone before, including Mars. As capable as Apollo was, the longest round-trip mission to the moon was only 12 days.
It's a GoPro
Orion
camera.
has sustained a crew of 4 for 21 days,
High definition.
and when coupled with a
Takes
habitability
pictures, video, everything.
will allow us to
Underwater, it's
undertake
waterproof.
missions to Mars, which will require close to a 2-year round trip. The vehicle that will carry Orion is the Space Launch System, or SLS. SLS will be the most powerful rocket in history, but more importantly, it's designed to be flexible and evolvable in order to meet a wide variety of crew and cargo missions. As I said, you're in for a very special experience today. Enjoy yourself as you get a unique look at NASA and Kennedy Space Center, past historic achievements, an exciting peek at our current innovative activities.
Okay, folks, if I can draw your attention to the left side of the bus, look down this line of trees. You see that tree that sticks up above the others? That is the Eagle Nest tree. You can see it from here. Look at the row of trees, the tallest tree. Look down the center of that tree in the middle. In the center there, you'll see a mast. That is the Eagle Nest. See it over there? When would you think that you would see an eagle's nest from a mile away? A nest. Now that eagle's nest has been there for 50 years, folks. It is the size of a full-size mattress. It weighs approximately 700 pounds. There it is to my immediate left, folks. That is the eagle's nest. We have 15 eagle's nests here in the Wildlife Refuge. And about 6,000 acres. In the refuge, 144,000 acres. Now, folks, I'm going to show you a video about the vehicle assembly building. Every rocket and every shuttle that was launched from here had to go through the vehicle assembly building.
pad is one of the world's largest buildings by volume, the Vehicle Assembly Building, or VAB. It was built for the Apollo program in the 1960s and stands 525 feet or 160 meters high. The American flag you see on the front is 21 stories tall. The VAB is where everything comes together before a launch. The Apollo and Space Shuttle vehicles were assembled for flight in the VAB. This cavernous facility contains 4 huge bays where the spacecraft were assembled using massive overhead bridge cranes for highly complex maneuvers. Today, the VAB is being updated to assemble our next human-rated launch vehicle, the Space Launch System, or SLS. The SLS is the most powerful rocket in history and has an evolvable design that ranges from 321 to 384 feet tall, depending on mission requirements. This rocket will someday help NASA to reach its goal of human exploration of Mars. The large tower next to the VAB is the mobile launcher being built for SLS. When completed, it will carry the massive launch vehicle on top of the crawler transporter to pad 39B. You will learn more about the launch of SLS when we get to the launch pad. Adjacent to the VAB is the Launch Control Center, the distinctively shaped 4-story building which houses the launch team.
Now, folks, if I can draw your attention to that American flag there, that is the tallest hand-painted American flag in the world. The stars are 6 feet across. The stripes are 8.5 feet wide. We can drive a bus down one of these stripes. On the roof, you can place the Yankee Stadium and have an acre left over for parking.
Controlling area 13 on 46.
This is the tallest single-story building
Copy, 14
in the
over 30.
world, and it was built 50 years ago.
13
It
on
is
46.
the 6th largest by volume. If you can take the Empire State Building apart, you can stack 3.5 Empire State Buildings inside. If one of these bays was completely open, folks, you can slide the Statue of Liberty inside and have 100 feet left over. It's a monstrous building. You can't tell by just looking because you have nothing to gauge it by, except that tower that's being built for the SLS rocket, the most powerful rocket in history. That tower is 392 feet tall. We're gonna go right by there and check that out. But right now, I need to show you these 2 cubicle buildings right here, 1 and 2. These are where they would place the shuttles. Well, we come to know as the shuttles, but these are orbiters, the orbiter processing facility. This is where they bring the shuttle in after a launch, after a mission. They would bring it there and they would inspect all the heat tiles, prepare it for the next mission, recalibrate the instruments, remove the brakes, the tires, new tires, the brakes on. We don't do shuttles anymore, now we launch rockets. So Boeing is leasing these buildings for, they're building a capsule. We'll talk about that later. Now I'm going to show you the crawler. Look diagonally across from here. That is the crawler. The crawler is the vehicle that moves the rockets and the shuttles around the space station. Now, the crawler weighs 6 million pounds. It is the largest tracked vehicle in the world. It can lift up 3 times its
So
weight.
36 now because
The crawler runs by diesel power generators that power electric motors on each track. Now this has 4 sets of tracks. That means 8 tracks. Each track has 57 cleats. Each cleat weighs 2,000 pounds. So there's 8 tracks. They each have 57 cleats and they weigh 2,000 pounds each. Now the top of the crawler is the size of a major league infield. Now at launch time, look at this monstrous building, this vehicle, and look at that mobile launch platform, which weighs 8 billion pounds. That's a big structure also. But next to this, it looks like a pancake. Now at launch time, the crawler goes underneath this platform, lifts it up, brings it into the vehicle assembly building, and then they will start to assemble the shuttle. Now folks, then they assemble the shuttle and take it down to the launch pad. At the launch pad, it will be sitting on a trench that is 450 feet long, 58 feet wide, and 42 feet deep. Now you see the holes? When they fire up the shuttle at the launch pad, the fire from the solid rocket boosters, the 2 holes in the back, that goes down through there into that trench. Now, this trench is full of 400,000 gallons of water. Now, the front hole is the 3rd hole. That front hole is for the shuttle's 3 twin engines and the external fuel tank. That's where the fire goes down into that trench. If you ever saw a launch, you would see a big white cloud, and you think it's smoke. It's not smoke, it is steam. That fire goes all the way down the bottom of that trench and pushes all that water up that is steam. They do that to deaden the sound. The water, they put it in there to deaden the sound, not to cool the pad. Now folks, this here is a different story altogether. This tower is 392 feet. It was built to stabilize that rocket all the way to the launch pad 39B. Now, there's an elevator shaft there. This whole platform with the tower and the rocket weighs 14 million pounds. At launch time, the crawler comes back, goes underneath it, lifts it up, brings it into the vehicle assembly building. There, they will attach that rocket to the face of this here frame here. Now, this rocket, if you guys got this map, that's a picture of that rocket. It's right there on your map. And that is the most powerful rocket in history. Now folks, this 14 million pounds and 6 million pounds, that's 20 million pounds that will be going over this crawlerway. This is built to sustain more than 20 million pounds. It's built for that. The top layer of this is Tennessee River rock that we got from Alabama. Now the round stones, the round rocks, they serve as ball bearings to the track as it comes over it. And the crawler goes over this one time, then they come back and regrade it. Now you see this building here, this is Launch Control Center. They're responsible for firing up the rocket at the launch pad. Now at launch time, there are 200 engineers and technicians in there, and they're responsible. They'll be in control till it clears the tower, at which time control is given over to Houston, Texas. Now folks, you look across the way here, see that American flag? Under that blue box there is the countdown clock that you see on the television. Now, This is where they televise the launch from. This is as close as you can come. And at lunchtime, this place is bombed with media people, television people, and the international press. And then they watch the launch from the bleachers. Now, folks, I'm going to play a video.
The Space Shuttle program ultimately assured its place in history with the complex on-orbit assembly of the International Space Station, the ISS.
Now, folks, if I can draw your attention right here, this is another mobile launch platform. Under it, we have the other crawler. Now, the crawler only moves forward. You see the cab on the lower left-hand corner? That's where the driver sits. Now, if he wanted to go into reverse, the driver would have to get out of that cab diagonally on the opposite side and go into that cab, and that's how they would go forward that way, which is reverse from this side. Now, you see this here, the mobile launch platform weighs 8 million, the roller weighs 6 million, and usually, typically the roller would be here at launch time while the shuttle launches, and then he would be close enough if something went wrong, he could go back to the launch pad and pick up the shuttle and bring it back to the vehicle assembly. Now, folks, right in front of us here is launch pad 39A. In front of it, you can vaguely make it. There is a white tube. You see a white tube right in front of that structure there. That is the rocket, folks. That is the rocket. We're going to have a better look at it. Now, see that tower there and the rotating arm from the shuttle, that's coming down. Behind it is that water tank that has 300,000 gallons of water inside and another 100,000 gallons in the pipes. Those are the 400,000 gallons of water that go into that trench. Now the trench, I'm going to show you guys now. That building there, folks, is SpaceX, and that's where they are assembling rockets, in that building. SpaceX is leasing that building, and they'll assemble rockets in a horizontal position, and then they bring it up to the launch pad. And they won't be needing the crawler anymore because they're bringing it up by rail to the top of the launch pad, where it would be sitting over that trench. Now, when they fire it up, the rocket goes up, fire goes down, and out the sides of each, there's two sides to that ramp that will open up with like valves. There's the gates, water gates that open up and allow that water to ease out after the launch. Now, folks, on a different note, you see this here, crawler weight. When the crawler's coming with that big launcher platform that weighs 14 million pounds, it will have that tower, 392 feet, and the rocket, which is 322 feet. Now that's a monstrous vehicle that will be coming through here. The crawler straddles that grass. Four tracks on this side, 4 on the other side, and it will make its way up to the launch pad. Now, if you look at this ramp here, the underside of that ramp is the trench. Now that trench, once again, has 400,000 gallons of water. The inside walls of that trench is lined with a special concrete that's called ablative concrete, and it's fireproof, and it is lined, the whole 450 feet is lined with that, and when the fire goes down in there, the water is in there, and up comes the rocket, and then you get that big cloud of smoke, which is not smoke, it is steam. Then the water comes back down, and then they open up the sides of the trench, and the water lets out into a trough, which lets out in the field. Now, folks, look to the right. Look to the right. We're gonna have a sneak preview here to the right. I think it's this opening or the next opening there. All the way, almost looking back. Almost looking back. You see it? See the water tank? Okay. Now you get a better view here. Go back to where you saw the water tank and see if you see that white tube. That is the rocket. You see it? That's the rocket right there, folks. This is my first time seeing it today. You know, I've seen others, but this one here. Now, folks, we're gonna come back. I'm gonna show you flame deflectors. These big flame deflectors, they deflect the fire. You ever see a launch, you see the rocket stay there a long time before he moves up? Well, before they let go of the emergency brakes, you know, because that's what it looks like, and then it shoots right up. Well, when that fire is coming down, it scatters all over. We have these deflectors, folks. Those deflectors that come down and they deflect the fire into that trench that's 42 feet of water. Now, on each side of that ramp, see where the concrete slopes down? There are 6 big openings in the concrete in that ramp, and that is for the gates, the floodgates that open up and allow the water to get out. Now these are the flame deflecting stanchions. They have a giant high-low that goes under there, lifts them up, and puts them on the side, on the edge of the platform. Now, folks, you see the far corner there, you see the melted concrete. That's when the solid rocket boosters are pounding on that flame deflector. And that's why it melts the concrete. That's how hot it gets. It is a flame retardant coating that they use there. They'll use that over and over again, and the same stuff that's lining the inside of that trench is lining this here. Now, folks, I'm going to show you guys a video. This next video will be that launch of that most powerful rocket in the world. Due to modern day technology and computers, you'll be able to see that launch from that tower in the launcher platform. You'll be able to see that. Now, when you finally see it, keep your eye on the Orion capsule. The Orion capsule is where the astronauts will sit. Boeing and SpaceX and these 2 companies are going to be doing the transportation to and from the International Space Station. Now, NASA has been using Russian rockets up to now, and when they're ready, they'll be sending a rocket up with the capsule, has the astronauts, and they'll go up with supplies and payload. Payload is the work that they research up there in the International Space Station. For that interchange to happen, that rocket has to match the speed of the International Space Station, which is 17,500 miles per hour. So at some predestined area, predetermined area in space, the two will meet. They're both at the same speed. Now the International Space Station has a rotating arm that was invented from the Canadians, from Canada. And that rotating arm will reach out to that other space vehicle and connect to that space vehicle, and that's how they make the interchange in space. That arm is like a tunnel, and then they bring the supplies and everything, and that's how they do the interchange in space. Now folks, on a different note, we are 5 minutes away from the Apollo Saturn V rocket center. Right here in front of us, folks, that building you see there. And this is all about space. You're gonna see the largest rocket ever built, the Saturn V rocket. And it was built 50 years ago, folks. 50 years ago. And it still has that title, the largest rocket in the world. You're gonna see it on display there, and you're going on another tour, folks. When I drop you off, there'll be a steel door. That steel door will open up. You guys will begin your tour there. It's all about rockets. You'll see a film clip with Neil Armstrong walking on the moon. You see Alex Shepard in his spacesuit. You'll see his spacesuit, which still has moon dust on it. You'll see moon rocks that were brought back. It's a nice, interesting tour. And folks, the thing here is that you dictate what to do during the tour. You can go get refreshments and come back and join the tour, or whatever you want to do. They have a nice big lawn outside where you can enjoy the weather, tables, and they sell food inside. Also, when you're ready to come back, folks, you see this tour we just took. We were on the other side of Launchpad 39A. We was on the other side here. You see it across the water there? I don't know if you can't see the rocket from here, but we was on the other side of that. That's why this tour took 40 minutes, 45 minutes. But from this location here, you guys are only 15 minutes away from the visitor center. So in all fairness, you're 15 minutes away, but if you gotta be there at a specific time, then you add another 15 minutes to that, because the key word here, folks, is gift shop. Gift shop was placed logistically at the entrance, at the exit. Go through the gift shop and you'll come out and you'll be on the line here waiting to board the bus. And this tour, you guys will enjoy this tour. See these guests here? They're waiting for that door to open. It just opened and you guys got here just in the nick of time.